Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Ready, Set, Smart webinar series, where we are providing continuous opportunities highlighting SMART's tools. Our Getting Started sessions are designed to give you a beginner's view into SMART products and build your confidence as you integrate these tools in your classroom. In today's session, we will show you how to get started with your iQ4 Smartboard as an instructional tool for engaging students. My name is Laura Barr, and I'm a professional development specialist from Texas. Today's webinar, Getting Started with iQ4, is hosted by Terry Politti, Senior Professional Development Specialist from Philadelphia. We encourage participation, so if you have any questions, please ask them in the chat during the presentation. At the end of today's webinar, additional resources will be shared in the chat. Also, for participating today, a certificate will be provided after you complete a brief survey. So at this point, I'm going to turn things over to Terry so that we can dive into today's webinar, Getting Started with iQ4.
Hello, everyone. You can see my screen. It makes it a lot clearer for you. I'll try to describe what I'm doing, but you can also watch me with my camera kind of where I'm touching. Today is really about iQ4. I think I've been living it since sometime around August. Really good finds, really things we really like. So let me kind of share some things with you. First of all, just a little bit of difference from iQ3 to iQ4. iQ3, we did have apps, but they were driven more by us. iQ4 is really more about that holistic day-to-day job that you have. You have your phone, all the components are on it. You have your computer, all the components are on it. Now you have your board, all the components are on it. So it doesn't matter what I flip between, everything's kind of similar. Everything's kind of the same. Those are kind of the pieces that I like out of iQ4. Laura, anything you like between the changes?
Sorry. What I really like is that I think it's really intuitive. Again, thinking about your phone, we have our phones with us all the time. So it acts like a big phone on the screen. And so a lot of things that you're used to with your phone, you can do on the board as well. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There we go. It's like might have lagged just a little bit. There we go.
I'm not sure if it was you or me. That's why I was a little bit thrown
We're
there.
fighting over it, yes.
Okay. All right. Then let's get in and take a little bit look at what iQ4 has. First of all, it's that first time sign in. That first time sign in means I sign into the board so that all my stuff is where I want it. I have all the apps. So Laura's going to put in the chat the link for the first time sign up if you haven't seen it yet. That's just how you sign in. So I'm already signed in because my files are here. So I want to make sure that everybody else understands that I did this ahead of time just because I wanted my files to be here. So the first time login, and I'll actually go to the home screen right now just to kind of show you. My home button or my person is telling me that I am signed in. So I've already done those first time steps. Now, once you do those first time steps, the next time I am usually a person that uses the QR code and logs right in. But notice you can also use that smart login access if you want. So those are some different options that you have kind of as we go through this. All right, today we're going to be looking at some board basics, signing in, signing out. We're going to look at customizing the display, making it like I want to. Then we're going to look at some of the other things that are new, the whiteboard, the added pieces of the whiteboard, and how we can deliver certain lessons. So that is the plan for today. So let's begin with some basic customizing of the home screen. So first of all, let me actually explain some of the home screen to you. On the home screen, you have this bar along the bottom. Let me get rid of the whiteboard bar. These are all my buttons that'll be part of the home screen. Quick lock is new in 4.2. Quick lock means I need to go to lunch. Let me just lock the board, and when I come back, everything's exactly like I need it. We then have the whiteboard app, smart mirror, Chrome, files library, back, home, and recents, apps drawer, the input button if I want to connect a computer or something else to it, smart tools, smart sign in, and then the cleanup button, which will get rid of things in your recents file, your stuff in your browser, that sort of stuff. So we'll kind of go over that. Also to the right of that, you will see the sign in. That's the QR code that I was talking about that you could easily sign in on, or you can go to board login to sign in. All those options are there. So now that we kind of took a look and then you got to see a name to it, I'm actually going to go home just to show you my home screen and kind of see what I see. So this is my navigation bar down here. So if I want to get anywhere, it's a quick tap. Probably the one that most people start with is the 9 dots. That's the apps drawer. When I click on the apps drawer, I have a plethora of things in here I know I want to use. One of them is the YouTube app. So anything you want to customize, you can do a long hold and drag it out and put it wherever you want to. That's one way to customize your home screen. Another way is you have the Play Store. You can download or add any apps you want. You can see I did Slides, Docs, and Zoom. That's what's in the top right now. But to hit the Play Store, you simply come in here, you do a quick search, and I'm going to do Sheets this time. Could have done PowerPoint, could have done Microsoft 365. You can do any of them. Hit Install, and now that app is on the board in my profile. Now, once I get everything where I want it, now I can customize it to make things how I want, just like you do on your phone. On your phone, you stack things. You can do the same thing here. Let me stack Sheets. I do a long hold, and I'm going to stack it with Slides. I'm going to put Docs with that too. Maybe I'm going to put Docs with that too. There we go. Actually, it's giving me a finicky time. There we go. Now I can take that whole folder, take it, move it to any place I want. I can also tap once on it and I can name it something. So if you have a specific name, these are the things that Terry loves. I'm just going to call it Terry's. Ted check mark. And there's my stacked folder of items that I need. Now, anything that you add to the board, you can also uninstall. Things that came preloaded, you can remove from the home screen, but you cannot uninstall it. As a person. So let's say I don't want the Play Store sitting out here for my kids to see. I literally can take that Play Store, do a long hold. You'll see the word remove in the top center. I'm just going to drop it there. Removing means it removes it from the home screen. So when I come back here and look at my apps drawer, I still can see the Play Store there, but it's not part of my home screen. So the kids don't see it. It's not a distraction for them. So that customizing your home screen, you can do a ton of different things with. Some of the other things when you customize your home screen is I like favorites, but I don't need this many. So I'm going to do a long hold on favorites. It'll give me some different options, and one of them is I can change the size. And now it's a little smaller. So now I could also move my recents over if I wanted to. You have options. Recents and favorites. Oops. Recents and favorites. Recents is the files that I've opened recently. Favorites is anything I want to star because I use it all the time. So in this case, I'm going to star my file from today, and it will end up, and it will end up in my favorites file. So let me actually get in front of it and hit the star. And there it is. So anything you want to star that you bring back, you use daily, you can move it into your favorites fairly easily. Moving along there, you also have some other things, but let's take a look back down at the bottom again. So we have the apps drawer. We talked a little bit about the input, but I didn't show you the input. Literally, I can input stuff with HDMI or USB-C. Depending on which board model you have, the AM60 has the iQ4, the RX has the iQ4, and the MXV5 has the iQ4. So any of those may have different numbers of inputs depending on which board you have. The next one, as I'm kind of going over along that side, is the Smart Tools. Inside the Smart Tools are different tools you can use for different parts of your life. I absolutely love the screen record. It literally can record my whole screen. So if you have two kids up here and they're talking through a problem, it can record their voices, watch what they're doing on the board. Boom, you have something then to put back into your learning management system so other kids can hear what their thinking is. So it's almost that think aloud kind of thing. Also added new is screen capture and freeze frame are all part of the new part of this. If you have the document camera 365, or excuse me, 650, you can use that document camera. And if you have the smart stand that's mobile, you can go up and down from within inside of here. Also inside of here are widgets. Our old, what we used to call widgets. Sorry, I had to think about that. They're now smart tools. So if I want to make a quick spinner, I can make a quick spinner. It will bring it out and I can spin it. Inside of here, I can edit it in several ways so that it makes for whatever type of lesson that I'm trying to make. All right, let me close that one. Going along the bottom then is my sign out. So those are the 4 blue buttons on the right-hand side. Going to come to the 4 buttons on the left-hand side now. The whiteboard, smart mirror, Chrome, and files library. So the whiteboard will bring up my whiteboard lesson that I'm currently in right now and that we've been talking about for a little bit now. So this is my whiteboard lesson. Let me take a peek at a different one. Let's take a look at the whiteboard. The whiteboard gives us a lot of options. One, it gives us the option to be the presentation device, but it goes way beyond that because now I have the ability to connect kids to anything I'm doing on the whiteboard. So inside my whiteboard tools, there is the class management tool. And inside of there, I can literally ask participants to join my class, and I can make every page interactive according to what they need. So that means the kids at their Chromebooks, iPads, phones, whatever you need, are able to write up onto the board. Also in here, let me actually switch to the next one just to kind of go over some of the tools with you, are all the tools inside the Smart Whiteboard. All right. So, got a big blow up of them on top. The real bar is down at the bottom if you need to see it. But the first one allows me to move that toolbar around. So it's a move. The second one is my new feature. It allows me to add new file types. So if I click on new, it's new file types. All right, what that means is if I click down here on that up arrow, notice I can do a new whiteboard. Whiteboard means it stays on the board. If you have Lumio as part of your subscription, you could make it a new Lumio file and also find it in your Lumio files. Or I can find something in my files library that I want to bring in, and I'll come back to that in a little bit. The next one we have is the pen tool. Looking for my pen tool, customize my pen. Oops, I customized the whole board. Customize the pen tool. All right. When I want to customize that pen tool, it literally will allow me to change my pens. So I am holding up my red pen, but let's say I want it to be a purple pen and I want it to be thick. So now my pens are much different than what it appears to be. But I can make this be anything it wants to be. Same thing, let me add a blank page. You also have the ability to make it into text. So if I change it into the text pen and I write hello, give it less than 10 seconds and it should flip it into the word hello into text. Kind of cool because I am not a good speller and I'm not a good writer. It also gives me some other choices of what that word may have been if I didn't write it clear enough. I can also make it bigger or smaller, or I could rotate it. All of those features you can be found underneath the text pen, plus many more. Probably the one that most teachers like is they like the ability to make it into a highlighter, because if I upload a PDF, I can highlight over the text. So you have some different options there as you kind of move along. All right, last but not least, in that text pen is the ability to use your finger. So for teachers who have small kids who need the texture kind of thing, they can change the finger, they can turn it on. I'm going to make my finger this really cool color of purple, hit done, and now I am finger. So you have a lot of different choices for what you're trying to do. So those are just some options inside of the whiteboard. Let me go back a page and continue looking at what we have here. Oops, I probably want to erase that. I'm going to skip on down and I'm going to actually use my hand and I'm going to erase the old-fashioned way. Any flat surface will allow you to erase your hand. The next tool is the selector tool. It allows me to select multiple objects if I need to. So if I practice that on down here, I could grab multiple objects and move them together, group them together, lock them together, all sorts of stuff. The media tool, that's probably one of my favorite. The media is the mountain with the plus sign. When I click inside of there, notice I can add images from the web or from the board, or I can add videos from both also. So let me again add a blank page because it's much better if you can see it without anything else in there. And I'm going to add a media tool. So from the web, let's just search for a dog. When I find the dog I like, I'm just going to click and it's now part of my file. Again, it has the same features that the text had, where I can make it bigger or smaller. You can use the corner, or you can also use two fingers just like you use on your phone. That's media tool. Probably the biggest feature that I like about the media tool is I can also find content that's on my board. So anything I have placed or downloaded onto my board will be in my gallery and be able to use that also. Same thing, I can also search for videos if I need to and add a video right into the file. Probably one of the features I love most about that is no commercials. It's kind of nice just to see a video. All right, I'm going to keep on going on. The more key is next, the more allows me to have some of the mathematic tools. As a former math teacher, I love the ability to be able to use some of the tools that I wanted to. So let me move this one if I can. Oh, I am not having luck today, Laura.
It's finicky.
It is finicky for me today. I'll move on. There's some other tools that are inside the math tools also that you can use, but probably the most reason people go in here, in that more tool, is because they want the backgrounds. So if I have small kids and I want them to learn to use their finger to write, I might bring up the paper, grab that finger pen again, and be able to write on the board. But you'll notice you'll have a lot of other backgrounds to be able to choose from. This is probably my favorite background when I want to do a graffiti wall with the kids and say, what do you know about cell phones? And let them just have at it from their devices, be able to add some stuff. So some nice features in there. Forward, back. Class management tool, again, is where I can allow them to contribute into the class, where I can start it, that they can see it. Backwards, this is really going to give me all of my slides view. But probably the last tool I probably use the most, and that is the ability to add new blank pages, add files from anything from the board, whole class, or shout it out. Plus I have all these cool graphic organizers at my fingertips to use. And I also have a ton of manipulatives in here that I can add and use. And remember, any of these I can share out with the students. All right. Now I've added a lot of blank pages. So let me find the other. Oh, I'm coming back here. All right. So we've kind of covered some of these, but let's look at some of the other ones. We did Smart Whiteboard. Smart Mirror is the one that allows you to connect, or your students to connect wirelessly to the board. I love this feature for when we're working with code.org. I'll have two kids share their Chromebooks to the board, and we'll look at the two codes side by side and say they both work. Which one do you like better? Why do you like one? Why is one shorter? Why is one longer? Why might the longer one make more sense to you? So it's nice to be able for them to be able to put stuff on the board also without it sharing through you. But you have control inside of there to be the moderator so that you can pick who can share and who cannot share. All right, I'm going to hit Chrome and Files Library, but I'm going to hit those live for you. So let me come back in here and let me hit Chrome. First of all, the first time you launch Chrome, because I'm logged in, it will say, do you want to connect your account, Terry? And I said yes, for a couple of reasons. One, because now everything I touch inside of here is going to be about Terry. So anything I pull up is about me. Now, what I like about it is I can pull up anything and I can start writing on top of it. And you may or may not have noticed that I have this annotation tool that popped up as soon as I start writing. You can write on top of any app and that annotation tool pulls up. What's nice about it is I can save that for later and pull it into a whiteboard to be able to use it. So that's one thing I like about it. I also like that it is now connected to my Chrome account. So whatever I do on my Chrome account on my laptop, it's also doing on the board because I connected them. So inside of here, I have some different choices, but one of the choices I have is bookmarks. And these bookmarks, the 98 bookmarks, come from my bookmark bar on my laptop. What it tells me is I probably need to clean some out because that's too many bookmarks to have. But anything that I have put on my computer then shows up here. So I kind of like some of those features. Some of the other things I like inside of Chrome is let's do a Go Noodle. You can use whatever websites you like. Let me go to Go Noodle. When you have these, you can kind of remember, but what I like to do is back to that customizing the home screen. I like to put stuff on my home screen that I'm going to use all the time. I'm going to switch back to the other side because I got the 3 dots over here. When I hit on these 3 dots, one of the things that now says add to home screen. So when I hit add to home screen, whoops, that one's got an app. I can actually install it. I literally can put anything on my home screen and be able to use it later. So we were talking about Lumio earlier. I'm going to find the Lumio homepage. I'm going to log in as myself. Notice because I logged in with my Google, but I could also have logged in with my Microsoft account, that all that stuff is in there. It's going to remember all those components because it's now tied back to my laptop. And when I'm all done, I'm then going to add this one to my home screen to be able to quickly get to it in my home screen. So once it loads, there we go. Again, 3 dots, add to home screen. You can rename it whatever you want, but now it's part of your home screen to be able to use whenever you want to. Let me go back and take a look at that. If I take a look, you'll notice I got some new icons in that top left-hand corner. Here's my Lumio icon. Long hold, move it, or if I just tap it, it's literally going to take me out to the web page. And you'll notice it's opening up a new browser because it didn't know I had it in before, but it will literally take you places that you want to go for that quick, easy access. Same thing with any Google Docs, Google Slides, PowerPoints, Word docs. You can add any of those as quick slides to your home screen. For my case, I'm going to use slides, but you could have used PowerPoint just the same way. So if I pulled up PowerPoint or if I pulled up Office 365, anything that I find inside of here, again, I'm going to do a long hold, dots. I can download it, but that's not what I want. I want to add it to my home screen. Add it to my home screen. So now that was my morning message that I just put up there. So if I want to start with that every day, I'm going to put it someplace nice and easy, and it's going to pull up with my morning message stuff that I want to use today. So those are just some quick ways that you can customize from Google Chrome or from any of the apps that you already currently have on there. All right, that is Chrome. Last but not least is the Files Library. Inside the Files Library is everything that you make that stays on the board. So for instance, this was the browser that I wrote on. It's in here as a notebook file, which means it's a whiteboard file. So if I click on it, it will open it up in the whiteboard app. I know it's the whiteboard app because I will see the, I think I will see. It's kind of the way, there we go. I will see the writing on it, and I can tell them in the app because I see the toolbar for the whiteboard. What I like about this, though, is that app, the writing is layered. It is a layer, so I can erase it. Anything that I did before, it gives me 2 layers. So maybe I meant to wrote, not right. And I can fix stuff as I go along. So any app you can bring up when it's in full screen, be able to write on it, save it, and be able to bring it back up into the whiteboard. That's one thing the files library has inside of it. The other thing, if you connect to your Lumio account, you'll notice in the bottom left-hand corner, there's my Lumio account. So I can pull up any of the Lumio files that I want. Public files are anything that are that on the outside of the board. Say you had a substitute yesterday and they did something. When you log into your account, you can bring in whatever they did into the file. All the rest of these are different ways to look at stuff. I just give you some different ideas as to how you can use the files library. What I like most is once you start connecting things, I have the ability to share. So if I click share right now, these are the things that I have opened so far. So these are the things I can share to. So you have options depending on what apps you have on the board and what you've previously opened. So I love that easiness that is similar, very similar to my phone. All right, last but not least, I'm going to wrap up those buttons with the back, home, and recents. Home is my home screen. Back literally will take me back. Recents has some hidden gems inside of there. First of all, it's an easy way to get from thing to thing. So if I hit recents, it's going to show me everything that I have opened. So if I wanted to get to that whiteboard that we were doing, I'm just going to find my whiteboard. There it is. And I'm just going to find the slide that I want it to be on. If I wanted to go someplace else, I just hit recents and I can look at everything I have opened and be able to navigate back and forth to them. Also, just like your phone, if you need to close something, if I just swipe up from here, it will literally close whatever I have, or you have the option all the way across to clear all. Now, one piece that I really like is the split screen. So again, hit recents. The first thing you see is split. I'm going to hit split. It's going to split the first thing I did here, which is my whiteboard, and I can tell because of the icon. So it's going to split my whiteboard. And this time I'm going to split it with my slideshow that I had open earlier. Now, I am going to take a look at different things. When you split screen, the only thing that you can write on is the whiteboard. So you'll be able to write over here on the whiteboard, but you cannot write on the slides. So when you split screen, you can only write on the whiteboard itself. Now I could have very easily split something else. So to get rid of a split, center line. Oh, by the way, if you double tap on the center line, you can flip sides, especially if you teach from one side to the other. But if I want to get rid of the split screen, I'm just going to scroll it on that way. Let me add a page. We're going to add a graphic organizer. And now I want to give the kids an activity. Let's say we want to only give them 5 minutes on. All right, first things first, I'm going to go home. Remember I added that YouTube app on the front? I'm just going to launch that. If you're a person that likes timers, especially YouTube timers, I would highly recommend that you make yourself a playlist of the timers because you can do a lot of different things inside of here. And actually, I found the cookies today. They're kind of a new favorite of mine. So I'm going to launch one of the cookies. Now, when I do that, and I then pull up the whiteboard, notice what happens? The timer ends up in the bottom right. You can move the YouTube timers, you can also float it on top. So literally all I did was have the YouTube video running from the app and then just open another app and be able to use it that way. All right, bring it around home. I've now hit on just about everything there is inside of the basic customized home screen. Laura, was there any questions that I missed?
No questions in the chat that you missed. I think you covered all the basics.
Perfect. So that was just the tip of the iceberg. That was just kind of getting you to know what everything is. When you're done at the end of the day, you got to make sure you sign out. If I sign out right now, I'll lose you on Zoom. But make sure you sign out.
Terry, we might have lost your sound.
Here it is, right here.
There we go. I was like, we might have lost your sound, but we're back.
All right. Go, take it away, Laura.
Alrighty, so Lisa, I'm going to put in the chat some resources. These also will include other resources that we have for other smart boards, as well as the Academy. That's a great place for you to go to learn more about smart boards and things in general. We have a Learn Smart page there on the screen that I linked there, as well as a smart YouTube channel. So if you're more of a learner who likes to visually watch and kind of be on your board at the same time, that smart YouTube channel has lots of different tips and tricks and videos there. We also have our webinars linked here. So for any future webinar that you would like to attend, whether it be on a smart board session or on Lumio, we have both of them. So I'm going to drop that link in the chat as well. And then that Academy is great for free self-paced coursework. So if you're a teacher who just likes to learn more, or you have those continuing PD credit hours that you need, check out the Academy, because we have lots of courses for both Smartboard and iQs, as well as for Lumio. And then the last thing I'm going to drop in the chat is going to be that survey link so that you can get credit for attending today's session. One really big thing that just was released as well was that we now have our iQ4 Smart in the Academy. So there's coursework for that. But I just dropped in the chat that bit.ly. So when you complete that survey, you will get a link to have your PD certificate generated when you are done with that. So thank you for learning with us today. And thank you, Terry, for your expertise and for insights into our Smart iQ4 experience. And we look forward to seeing you at a future webinar.